2024 was a really special year for me. Not only was it a great year for anime, with so many new fan favorites being brought into the limelight of anime discussion, but it was also the year where I discovered one of my new all-time favorite animes in Frieren. And it was thanks to that show that this entire channel really got kickstarted. After my Frieren video, people started tuning in and supporting me. And so for that, I'll always be thankful to 2024. But who cares about that? 2024? Throw it in the garbage. We're talking about 2025, baby! Woo! Out with the old, in with the new. Let's go! 2025, here I come! Like I said, 2024 was a great year for anime. But I'm always looking to the future and eagerly anticipating what new wrecking ball is going to crash into online anime culture. For one, we're getting continuations of several highly praised animes like Apothecary Diaries, Dandadan, Fire Force, and of course One Piece. And people have come to expect that these respective seasons of anime will probably be just as incredible. However, today I don't want to talk about existing series because of course those are going to be highly anticipated. Rather, I wanted to focus today on series that have yet to receive anime. You know, stuff that maybe not as many people will know about. And these include series that either just started this year or are coming sometime in the future. And starting us out is a show that is coming out on January 11th. The day after this video goes up, in fact. That show is Sakamoto Days. Being based on a Shonen Jump manga, there's a good chance that a lot of you probably already know about this series. But nonetheless, it's one that I've been incredibly excited about. For anyone who doesn't know, Sakamoto Days follows, as you might have guessed, Taro Sakamoto, an ex-assassin who, after marrying the love of his life, having a kid, and gaining a few pounds, decides to leave his assassin ways behind him and settles into domesticated family life running a convenience store. And you know, things are fine until his former life begins to catch up with him and he starts seeing assassins infiltrating his store. If you were to just look at Sakamoto Days on the surface, it probably wouldn't stand out all that much. I feel like often these action comedy shows don't blow up nearly as much as these straight up battle shonens, but Sakamoto Days has been doing pretty well in Weekly Shonen Jump since its debut in 2020. The premise alone is so ripe for gags and comedy that I really do feel like people are gonna latch on to this anime. The juxtaposition of assassin affairs and day-to-day convenience store life really sets up for a lot of great memorable gags. And of course, it's not like there isn't any action at all. It's just that instead of most of it coming from a screaming prepubescent boy, it's coming from a 50-year-old convenience store owner. Wait, he's not 50? Well, how old is he then? Hold on, let me look this up. How old is Taro Sakamoto? Wait, what do you mean he's only 27? I've always loved the trope of the unassuming guy is actually way cooler than he lets off, and Sakamoto basically encapsulates that to a T. It also helps that his design is both incredibly simple yet sticks out and is memorable all the same, which of course are designs that I always appreciate. Sakamoto Days is animated by TMS Entertainment, who in the past have done shows like Lupin, Dr. Stone, and D. Greyman. They're not known for having super crazy animation or anything, but they generally get the job done pretty well, and I think they're a good fit for an action comedy like Sakamoto Days. So yeah, I think this show is definitely an anime to keep your eyes on. However, given how much complaining I did last year about the utter lack of original animes in this day and age, I feel like it would be hypocritical of me to not highlight a few on this list. And the first one I'd like to talk about is the newest work from Studio Mappa, as well as famed Cowboy Bebop director Shinichiro Watanabe. That show being Lazarus. Lazarus is set approximately 30 years in the future, where a cure-all miracle drug is developed by a neuroscientist named Dr. Skinner and given to the masses. And you know, that's pretty nice of this Dr. Skinner guy. You know, seems like a pretty swell fella. I'm sure he doesn't have any kind of, you know, evil ulterior motives or anything.
Yes! You just got pumped! Yes!
Yeah, turns out Dr. Skinner, not so cool. He's actually kind of like Jigsaw, if Jigsaw was a really smart neuroscientist. And now the cure-all drug is going to kill everyone in 30 days unless someone can find the whereabouts of Dr. Skinner. And thus, to save humanity, the Lazarus Task Force is formed. The show was announced in 2023 in collaboration with Adult Swim's Toonami block. And I have to tell the truth here, I am a little bit weary of Adult Swim's original anime at this point. I I really didn't enjoy Ninja Kamui. It was just kind of a super generic action anime, and the less that's said about the disaster that was Uzumaki, the better. But I'm actually really hopeful about this anime. The premise seems interesting enough, and I just really vibe with the overall aesthetic and character designs. But what I'm most looking forward to is the involvement of Shinichiro Watanabe. This guy has made such legendary shows in the past, like Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and Space Dandy. And I really appreciate what he stands for as a director. Someone that just wants to make cool anime for the sake of making cool anime. You can tell that everything he works on is driven by passion, and I think that's something that really needs to be at the forefront of the anime industry, especially when it comes to original anime like this. However, Lazarus actually isn't the thing I'm looking forward to the most coming out of MAPPA this year. That title would belong to the new original anime, Zenshu. If you've watched my videos in the past, a lot of you probably are aware that I really do not care about isekai. Isekai isn't inherently bad as a genre. I just personally think most isekais are kind of dull and lame and not really my kind of thing. I never really feel like they do anything that interesting with the concept, and thus, if anything, I feel like most of them are just kind of missed potential. So with that said, if an isekai shows up on my personal list of most anticipated anime, that should probably tell you enough about how interesting I think it looks. Zenshu follows animator Natsuko Hirose, who, after being given her first gig as an anime director, dies from overwork. And even as the year passes, this video becomes more and more relevant. After her death, Hirose awakens in her favorite childhood anime, A Tale of Perishing, the series that inspired her to be an animator in the first place. And as you might expect with a show called A Tale of Perishing, the anime's story isn't exactly sunshine and rainbows. However, Hirose finds that she's able to alter the events of the story by reanimating them. And to me, this already sounds like it has the potential to be one of the biggest anime of the year. Not only is the premise incredibly promising, especially for an isekai, but it also serves as an interesting meta commentary on, well, the anime industry, which you would not expect coming from MAPPA. A studio many feel as though is beginning to lose its way, what with, the employee abuse and everything. The fact they're even willing to allow a show that depicts an animator dying from overwork is surprising to say the least, and I'm actually really hopeful it signifies a shift in their practices. It probably won't though. I mean, let's be real here. At the time of this video, there should be 1 or 2 episodes available to watch, so I'd say do yourself a favor and check it out when you have a chance. Next up, we have an anime that was announced all the way back in 2022, Hat Atelier. This is an adaptation of the popular fantasy manga series that premiered in 2016 and is still ongoing. The story follows Coco, a young girl who aspires to be a witch and in the process of practicing some magical runes, accidentally turns her mother into stone. After this tragedy unfolds, she's taken in by a witch named Kifri. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but also your name is Kifri, so I'm not really gonna feel that bad about it. Who is in the process of tracking down the coven who could be the source of the runes that Coco used to turn her mother into stone. I'll leave the synopsis there, but from what I've heard, the story has a lot of interesting twists and turns and indulges in the same narrative grandiosity that I enjoy so much in stories like Full Metal Alchemist, Berserk, and One Piece, where eventually a story about 1 or 2 individuals branches off into a larger, grander narrative. And that really is just a great way to get me on board with just about any show. The manga has incredible art that really captures that aesthetic of a cozy fairy tale story. And I think the guys over at Bug Films have done an excellent job capturing that same feeling. I think the fantasy genre is such an untapped well of creativity for anime storytelling, and I'm just really glad that we seem to be going through a renaissance of new fantasy anime that have every intention to capitalize on the genre's vast potential. That being said, if you want to talk about potential, then we need to bring up the final anime of this video. Studio Bones' next big project after My Hero Academia. An anime that I think could be one of the biggest smash hits for years to come. That anime is Gachiakuta. I've talked about Gachiakuta a little bit in the past, but nowhere is it more relevant than here. After After being accused for a crime that he is not guilty of, our protagonist Rudo is cast down from a floating city into the pit, a place where those high in society dump all of their garbage, which of course includes their criminals. It's here that Rudo finds himself in a literal realm of trash where basically everything sucks. I mean, there's literal trash monsters. It really can't get worse than that. Rudo is eventually rescued by a man named Engine who offers to help him survive the harsh environment of the pit. And in turn, Rudo's quest for revenge against those who wronged him begins. I really do think that Gachiakuta has the potential to be the next big thing. It just screams originality, and something I really like about it is that it just feels so much like its own unique entity. This isn't me saying Gachiakuta isn't derivative in any way. I'm sure that the manga has plenty of inspirations, but from what I've seen, the story really does seem dead set on making its own world feel alive and distinct. And of course, I love massive stories that put large emphasis on the world itself. And if you can add in some mystery on top of that, we have a winning formula on our hands. The art style is both visually appealing while also having this grimy edge to it, which I can't imagine is an easy balance to strike. But I have faith that the people over at Bones will be able to work their magic and deliver something truly incredible. You heard it here. I'm expecting big things from this anime. But I want to know what you guys think. What are some anime that you're looking forward to in 2025? And what are some that you might be watching right now? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And if you haven't already, check out our 2024 Anime Rewind. It's our send-off to all the amazing anime that came out last year, and I really think that you guys will enjoy it. Until then, as always, take care, guys.